and welcome back to Skipper Sandra. I'm so glad you were able to join me today. So today I have a bit of a review or a follow-up review, and then I also have some pointers and suggestions, okay, when it comes to pattern keeping. So I've now gone on a couple of road trips in the last couple weeks. One of them was to Rhonda's house. Hi, Rhonda! When I had my sleepover with her. And the other one was for Mother's Day. I went down to Grants Pass with my husband and went and saw Mom. Hi, Mom! And we had a great time over in Jacksonville. So if you're in Oregon and you haven't been to Jacksonville, oh my gosh, you need to go down there. What a great little town. Had a great time. We went to the schoolhouse for our brunch, and it was magnificent. Back in 1908, it was established as a schoolhouse. They had all of the pictures. They did some reconstruction or some sustaining, and they used the bricks from two other schools that were being torn down in the area. So again, if you love history and you love preservation, this is an incredible place. And the food, oh my gosh. So I love Eggs Benedict, and they had one with crab and avocado. You had me at avocado. Actually, you had me at crab. You had me at both. It was great. And we actually got to meet one of the managers, Cherry. Cherry, if you're seeing this, hi, I'm so glad that I got to meet you. She was phenomenal, gave us a great tour at several levels. It was amazing. It really and truly was amazing to see how well preserved this building is historically. They even grow their own vegetables. So this is super fresh. Everything's made by hand. Like I said, I had the Eggs Benedict, and we have never seen English muffins that big before. And it's because they make them themselves. And by the way, if you can see, I got these gorgeous little shells from one of the shops there. And this was, it's actually made out of snail shell. I just thought it was amazing, and I will put that in the link below. I will also, or in the description below, I'll also put the link for the schoolhouse down below because, again, in a great location, and I thought it was really fabulous. So I get out there and take a look at it if you haven't been there, especially now that the weather's getting so fabulous. So with that said, because I was doing this traveling, I got a chance to use that fabulous big bag, you know, with the wheels. You remember the one? This one. This blue. And again, remember, I love blue. So blue is always what I look for. Anyway, so my big blue bag, which is very, very pretty. I really love this bag. I love all of the design on it. And what I loved, and one of the reasons I got it is, A, it's huge, really. It's got a great size, and it has the wheels and the extendable handle, so I don't have to carry. Remember, I've hurt my back. So this was really great, and I took it on both trips. So the trip over to Rhonda's house, where I stayed the night, I actually used it not only as my project bag, but I used it as my overnight case, and it was big enough to do both. And I had a bunch of information, because business-wise, you know, for the channel and stuff. So I had that with me as well, and I got it all to fit in here, and it was really a lot of fun. Worked great. I also took it again this past weekend for Mother's Day. I went down to Grants Pass, as I said, and this was my bag to take all of my, this time I actually used it just for projects. I didn't put any clothes in here. We actually had the overnight case, and he took care of that one, and I took care of this one. Priorities. But I had my projects in here, and it worked out great. So what I did is I pulled the front seat all the way back because he was driving, and this was there between my legs or under my legs, and it was great. It was super accessible to get to my projects, and I can get a little car sick, so I have to relax and not do anything and just watch the road for a while. So it gave me the opportunity of having all of that accessible to me, and it really worked out great. We had it made the trip very smooth. I was able to sing and talk to my husband and work on projects all simultaneously. Ask him. I do it all at once. So it worked out great. Now, one of the positive features, other than the stuff that I talked about before, remember this big pocket in the front? It has that, see that Velcro right there? I didn't mean to, but I actually tested that, and it was great because I had my iPad in here and some paperwork, and I tipped the bag and nothing fell out. and they were relatively big. So don't, if it's small, yeah. But, stuff like that didn't fall out, and it's a nice deep pocket. So it kept it all protected, and I was really thankful for that. I really appreciated that. So this was great. The one thing I do have to say, so if I turn it around and I lift it up here, so see this part right here? This is the bottom of that extendable handle. See, it's attached to this, okay? This is what keeps, I'm sure the support for this. The problem is that it's really bulky. So if I can get a profile of that, see how it really sticks out, and it almost looks like it might stick out past the tires. If you're on the height deficient side like me, okay, and you lean it back a little bit too far, it actually catches. So unlike a suitcase, like our traveling suitcase, where I can lean it back, I've never had that issue. I actually scraped this one because it sticks out so far. So it either needs to be up a little higher, a little flatter, and I'm talking to the designers for this, or the tires need to be a little bit bigger so that wouldn't happen. But other than that, and it was a little annoying. It took some getting used to. Didn't really like that, but this is what I have so far. So that's what I'm going to work with. But if I find somebody who pays attention to that detail, believe me, I'll be switching over. But other than that, it worked out great. So if you're looking for something like this, if you're taking one of those crochet cruises, I think this would be a great bag for you. It would really work out well. And again, you don't have to carry it, which for me, that can really be a problem. So that's what happened with that. In as much as I was on this trip, I took 2 different projects. So I'm working currently what I have on my hook. Actually, I have a lot on my hook. I always have a lot on my hook because I get excited about new projects. And one of the things was this, when I did the last video, we were doing the ironing and all of that. I originally started doing the videoing in my laundry room. And you should be thankful because it's very, very ugly. Very ugly. It's just concrete walls. It's ugly. And there's no color, and I'm trying slowly to get that going. And it dawned on me while I was in there, I looked off to the side and I realized I have not all, but a good portion of those little laundry soap packets, the pods. I have them in a plastic bag hanging off of the wall because I noticed that if I keep the actual container on the dryer, I don't have a shelf. And if I leave it on the dryer, it melts them together. That was not good. So what I did is I just went ahead and I put it in a bag hanging there, but it's in a plastic bag. And I thought, hello, I'm a crocheter. I crochet all kinds of crazy things, and I'm not going to crochet something cool for my soap. So while I was over at Rhonda's, I thought, well, I'm going to do something easy, because you know how it is. You get together with the girls and we're all talking, we're all having a good time. You don't want to be concentrating on a complicated project. And I purposely do that. And I knew it'd also be brainstorming and things, so I wanted to just enjoy my time, but be able to crochet with them. So I just took yarn. I said, okay, I'm going to take this one yarn, which, by the way, is a yarn that was given to me by my Secret Santa at work. And I've been not sure what to do with it until this idea popped into my head. And I took it with me and I started just kind of designing different bags. And I thought, everything was just boring and I wasn't enthused about it until I remembered I had seen this one special pattern and I loved it. So that's what I took with me. Now it is, and it isn't a complicated pattern. It really isn't a complicated pattern in as much as I can have a conversation, but it was a little more involved than just crocheting. And you'll see what I'm talking about in just a minute. But that brings me to the whole thing about pattern keeping. So on the road, what I actually took with me, and so here's this bag. By the way, this is that latest bag that I got from Slip Stitch. Isn't that great with my little surfing dudes? I love them. They are so cute. And it's that double big bag, and I wasn't sure if this was going to be too big for my projects. Works out great. And here's my little bag that I keep all my nookie stuff in. Again, my little llamas. Worked out great. Loved it. So I had all the pattern stuff in just a plastic holder, plastic sheet protector, right? And so you can see it because I am just so excited about this. It's not done. This is like part 1 of it. I don't know if you're going to be able to guess what this is, but this is, yeah, I'm just so excited. Look at the little fringies, the fringies. Yeah, this is going to be super fun. So here's this. I know you're dying to know what it is. I know you are, and we'll figure it out. So I took that, I had that for another pattern that I have with me, but I didn't do that for this one. And I thought the reason is because, well, I want to reduce, right? We all want to reduce, we want to conserve, and we want to be responsible. And I thought, you know what? I have this fabulous tablet or an iPad, and I can access it straight from my Pinterest account. I can access this pattern. So why do I need it with me? Well, let me tell you, for the same reason I've always said I don't trust technology. I lost signal. I couldn't get the pattern up. And probably what I should have done is saved it onto the tablet itself or onto the iPad itself. And I didn't do that. So then, of course, I can't find it, right? I'm like, well, where is it? And I couldn't find it. So that made it very frustrating for me. If you know you're going to be going through areas, so here again, so like say you're going on a cruise or you're going on a road trip or you're going to be on a plane, okay? You're not always going to have signal, and that can be very frustrating when you're in the middle of a pattern and you lose signal and you can't get it. So what I discovered is what I've always done. So how I keep my patterns is I have them on Pinterest, but whenever I actually use a pattern, what I do is I print it. Do you recognize this? All right. I'm just so excited about these little guys. Do you recognize him? Do you recognize him? For those of you who are of the younger ilk, this is from Sesame Street, and this is one of the yips. They're little Martians, and they come back and they come down and they go yip, 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 yip. And they'd learn all kinds of new things and words, and I loved them. But this particular designer, and I am so thick, she calls it the Yip Yips. That's the name of it. And it's Carissa Browning from CarissaKnits.com. Please go to her. She's on Ravelry. And I'll have the link down below because this is a great pattern. She really writes well. It was easy to understand. Even in a car that's jostling, it was easy for me to read. And that was on my tablet or on my iPad. So believe me, it was really great. The only thing is it's more involved. Obviously, I am not done, right? Does this look like not yet? It will. It will. It's just not there yet. But again, what I normally do, I didn't do this time, is I always print the patterns that I am going to use. And the reason is again, because you can't trust technology. Well, then how do you keep them? A lot of times I use the sheet protectors, the plastic sheet protectors, because I don't have enough of these fabulous dolls. So this one is from A Knitter's Pride, okay, and it's called a Pattern Keeper. And if you open it up, it has a snap, and this comes with a magnetic. It's supposed to be so you can follow the pattern. So if you have your pattern on here, and I'll pick a decent page here. So if you have your pattern on here, now see, you have to place the counter markers so that you could put this marker so that you can have this, and then you can slide the pattern up and down so that you can keep track of where you are. And it works great. I've used this one for abnormally big patterns, usually ones I've designed. I had to do that for the pattern that I'm using, that I used because I had to reconstruct a pattern for a kitchen curtain that I did of some waves. It has a pocket it has just one single pocket right here, and it's a pretty good sized pocket. It has a couple of Velcro tabs on it. It does come with this pen with a pen loop, so if you have written patterns, you can actually make notes, and it has somewhere to do that. And so what you do with this other strap is you clip it to the other, make it look nice. So you clip it to the other side so it creates this triangle, and now it stands up by itself. So if this was on a table, it would stand up by itself, and it's hands-free, but you can see it. It works great. I like it. It's, like I said, it's big, so it suits different, if I'm using it, doesn't matter how I'm using the pattern, I can use this one, and it works pretty well. It's a little heavy. It's very, very stiff. It's kind of, it must have like a cardboard or plastic inside in the lining, and so it makes it a little heavier, and it's very stiff, but it's very pretty, right? My favorites to use, and I have several of them, but of course they're all in use, and you could probably guess where I got it from. Here's another one. Fabulous bag. This is, I believe, one of their stock bags, and this is, or their medium bags. This is from, again, Slip Stitch Studios. Look how fabulous they are. Aren't they adorable? I just love them. This is my octopus one. And I have clipped to it the pattern keeper. This is their pattern keeper. And I don't even remember what's in this pattern because I've been so busy working on other ones. Oh, this is my kitchen curtain one. This is a fillet that I'm working on. And so this, what's really great is, again, they have beautiful fabrics, and it has a wonderful pocket on the outside, fully lined, so you can put little knickknackies in there, pens, whatever you need. And then what they do is they have this plastic liner, and it's non-reflective, so see how it reflects, but you can still see the pattern very clearly. It doesn't do that bright reflection on you. And they also have magnetic rulers. The beauty of their magnetic rulers, though, is that they're already, unlike the other ones that are separate, these are already double-sided. Okay, so the lovely thing about this is you put it through the back of the pattern, and then you put this through the front, and now they stay in place. See how it stays in place, and you could just move it up and down depending on where you are in the pattern. I love this. I think it's great. This one does the same thing in as much as if you turn it around and you snap it together. So I'm going to snap this together for you. Snap it together. See, it does that triangle thing again, and it really does stand up on its own. So I really like these, and it's very light, very sturdy. I love these. Again, it's Slip Stitch Studios. I think I have a thing for their stuff. I really do. It's a great product, and it makes it really easy. And I put just one of those like key rings around the zipper pull, and then I attached it to a D-ring to my bag, and that way I keep it together, because this is quite an involved pattern that I'm working on. Oh, here's famous writers. My little bag with famous writers on there. Different stories. So there's the Hunchback of Notre Dame. There's Jane Eyre. There's Anne of Green Gables. I love this bag. Yes, I'm a literary fiend. And since we're talking about it, so here is the pattern that I'm working on. So this is my kitchen window, my kitchen curtain, and it's a ship at sea. And right now, that's all you can see of it. But that's going to be one of these days when I get it done. And that's made out of thread, so you probably can't see it. See, against my shirt, yeah. So it's out of a size 10 crochet thread. And, or is that a 10 or a 30? I forget. I'm forgetting. I think it's a 10. So it's going to take me a little bit because it does take a little bit longer. And it's actually out of a vintage thread that I had purchased from a thrift store. So I'm kind of excited about that one. So anyway, that's how I keep those patterns. And it just depends on how many I have of them as to which pattern keeper I put it in. But that's a great way. So then what I do is you go, okay, that's great, Sandra. You've now printed them. But once you've made it, what do? Well, once I've made it, and Pinterest has this new feature now where you can click a button that says I've tried it. So I'm going to start doing that for these that I've actually done projects for. But once I've done these, then what I do is I actually have a card or a page that the sample of the yarn and all of the information about this project goes attached to. I write the name of the pattern, and then I keep these. So I scan these into my computer, and I have a file called crafts, because I do other things other than crocheting, but I call it crafts, and all of my patterns are in there, and they're in different categories. This one would be bags because that's what it is. It's a bag. But it could also be a toy. You know, it's just what you want to turn it into. So I have this, and I'm gonna, as soon as I'm done, I'll scan it in and I'll put it in there, but I'll still keep a hold of this pattern. And the reason is because if I have the need to do it again, instead of printing out another one, I know where to get it. But I only keep the printed pattern of the ones that I actually have done. Does that make sense? Because I don't want to throw them away. And the same thing with magazines. So magazines, whenever I get patterns out of a magazine, I rip them right out. I don't keep the whole magazine. The only magazine that right now, well, there's two of them. So there's the Smithsonian that I keep because the stories are just amazing and they have some really great stuff in there. And also are the Victoria magazine. I love Victoria magazine. I've been collecting that magazine since I was 18 when I discovered the first one, and I've been collecting them all my life ever since, you know. And that's how I got really introduced to the Victorian era, and I delved further into it and really researched Queen Victoria, and that's where my love for the Victorian came from, and I have been collecting that magazine ever since. But again, and I'll put that down below if you're interested in taking a look at that. But these are great, and then I keep them because you never know if I'm going to need to make another one. Someday I'll have grandkids, and I already threatened my daughter that I might make the grandkids, their stockings all look like yips. I'm really excited. I just got ping pong balls for the eyes, so I'm very excited to get this project done and see how that goes. But yeah, so that was the adventures of this last weekend with the patterns, and I hope that gives you some ideas. You know, if you can not waste those patterns, that's great. Yeah, and if you can keep them and store them in a way that you can access them again quickly, that's even better. Now I store all of mine, like I said, everything that I have printed is scanned into the computer, and even the magazine ones, I have scanned them into the computer because I am that neurotic about it. My husband thinks I'm a little nuts. Actually, my whole family thinks I'm a little nuts, but it's okay because I know I'm going to use them eventually. Actually, I have more patterns than I have days of life in me to make everything, but at least I know where they are and I can access them if I need them. What do you do? How do you store your patterns? Do you keep them after you've used them, or do you throw them away, or do you donate them? What do you do? I'd love to hear. I'm going to put links to all of this stuff down below because I really want you to, she's so great. I'm going to check out her other patterns because she really did a great job in writing this pattern. I thought it was fabulous. Not all designers can write patterns very well. And this one has been super simple. Like I said, I haven't finished it, so see how it's black, the mouth is black? Well, I haven't, that's a liner. I haven't decided if I'm actually going to do it in black or if I'm going to do something different. And that's the beauty of stuff like this. They'll tell you this is what she did and this is how she did it, and it turned out beautiful, right? But this is hers. I get to make it mine. And as you can see, mine has a variegated yarn, so it's not the same all throughout, unlike hers. I'm already making it my own. And so you can do the same. Don't, just because the pattern says to do something doesn't mean you have to. Be yourself, be creative, and have fun with it. All right, everybody, I hope you have a great week. I hope you enjoy yourselves, and I will see you next week. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the little bell so you'll know when the next video comes out. Give me a thumbs up if you liked the video. If you didn't like the video, then shoot me an email or meet me on Facebook and let me know why. I'd love to hear. I really do want to improve my videos, and I want to give you guys the information that you could use. Okay? Well, thank you so much, everyone. Have a great week, and I will see you soon. This is ta-ta for now from Skipper Sandra. Bye.